Everybody, and welcome to the preview show for the 2017 Monster Energy Supercross season. I am here with Andy, and we're going to be talking about a lot of touchy subjects today for the season, which should be a much anticipated one. What are your thoughts so far?
I think it's shaping up, Drew. There's nobody's really gotten hurt this far, so everybody's, that's usually what takes some of the steam out of this. Other than Stewart not being there, that's kind of a hit for me.
That's a controversial one for me as well. We'll get into that at a later date, though. I mean, that is one we definitely have to talk about. But yeah, so there's a lot to talk about on this show today. We've got the 250 class. We've got a few topics inside the 450 class and our predictions as well. And then we're at the end of the show. We're going to end it with our top 10 predictions for each class in the West, or I guess at least the West and the 450s. So, do you want to kick off with the 250 class?
Okay, well, actually, you get started on that. You're probably a little more up to speed on the
250 I do know quite a bit about what's going on with the 250s, but so far from what I've seen, it's there's a few. Everybody kind of is leaning toward Faulkner and Plessinger to run away with the West Coast. I'm not too sure if I agree with that. I really think that it's going to be J-Mart.
A-Mart's going to have something to do
with
that.
A-Mart's on the East. You got J-Mart on the West.
Right.
On his new Geico Honda he looked really good in the MXGP there of Glen Helen. I thought he was pretty good. Jeffrey Hurlings is in a world of his own, but for not having too much time on the bike, I thought he was pretty solid going forward.
Yeah, I think he's going to definitely have something to say about that as well.
And another thing about him is that he was actually supposed to ride the East Coast, but then supposedly he was riding so good that Geico, and they had like a race scrimmage with all the Geico guys. They all got together and had a race, and I guess J-Mart just blew them away. And supposedly what that's done is the Geico guy said, we got to get this guy riding right now, and that's why he's going to the West Coast, because he made the switch just recently.
Is that right, eh? Well, that's good. Who else is looking good over there?
Well, you got Austin Faulkner. Faulkner is the favorite, I think. I don't really think Plessinger, in my opinion's got it. I really don't. My problem with Plessinger that I feel is that he is not great at coming through the pack.
Yeah, he does get bogged down sometimes, doesn't he?
But, if he can get a start, though.
If he gets the start, he's definitely fast enough to hang in there.
Yeah, he's as fast as anyone, really. But yeah, I just don't think he can get through the pack. Other riders of note, we got Phil Nicoletti moving down from the 450s after a fifth in the outdoors this season in the 450 class, which was a bit of a surprise. But he's going to be racing with JGR in the 250s.
Yeah, I think Phil will be good. He'll be good. Coming off of that 450, it's that bike's going to feel pretty light to him, and he'll be able to chuck it around pretty good. So. I think Phil will be a contender for sure.
But do you think the lack of power? Do you think that's going to be something that's going to hurt him a little bit, or?
Yeah, maybe. But I think the lighter feel of the bike, and it'll help him. I don't think he's a big guy, so I don't know if that'll be a huge thing for him.
Well,
he's a bigger guy, but he's not a. He's no Malcolm Stewart, I don't think. So I think he'll be okay, and I think he'll have the strength to really hoss that thing around.
Well, and also he's on the Suzuki as well, a new bike. Suzuki in the 250s has not had a lot of success for a very long time.
No, they've always been known for weak engine, but these factory teams can make anything fast.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's going to be no problem with getting things going at the right direction for sure. They're going to have a good bike. It's just whether or not that Nicoletti's going to have the speed. I don't think he'll win the title by any means, but I think he can be a top 5 guy on a good night.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
He did have a really poor 250 career when he was younger, and that's kind of what instigated the move to the 450. He couldn't get a 250 ride, but he got a 450 ride, so that's kind of why he moved up in the first place. And is it going to be his shot kind of to prove what he can do in a 250?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to go all the rounds and be ahead of Faulkner or Plessinger, but I think he'll be definitely a podium contender every night.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's going to have a good season. I think it was a right move for him. I know that a lot of people think it's controversial that he moved down to the 250 after having a pretty good outdoor 450 season, but there's just not enough rides going around up there, and I think it was a smart move for him to be able to go down like that. I think it was the only way he was going to have a solid ride for the season. He's not just a fill-in anymore. He's getting, he knows when he's going to race, which I think is actually a lot better for him.
Yeah, he's an older guy, and he's looking. He needs a paycheck for sure. So yeah, he's was a great fit for him.
Yeah, awesome.
What about you know what? Who I don't know what to expect from is that Justin Hill.
Justin,
What about him?
a race winner last year
Don't
on
know
the
where to
East
put him.
Coast. He won a race and then ruined himself and was out for the season. He just had that nasty wreck on the triple there. But he could be really good or he can be invisible. I mean, it kind of just depends.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I don't know where to put him. It's hard to say. He could be a contender or off the radar, one or the other.
Well, he's back with Mitch Payton, so you got to think his expectations in him are going to be really high, like every Mitch Payton rider. So it'll be interesting to see how he comes out in the season and how he does. Again, I don't put him as a title favorite, but I think he could be in there for race wins, though.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Another rider I want to talk about is Martin Davalos. That guy, the veteran, man. This guy's been there forever. I think he's got over 10 Supercross seasons, all in the 250 class. He's got 4 wins to show for it, not a lot. But he shows he's always a top 5 guy. You can't take that away from him.
Guy. I don't know, he just can't seem to stay off the ground when it counts.
Well, and normally it's really poor crashes. I mean, if we do look back at the one on the Kawasaki that he had.
He just chucks it away when
it's always like a washing out the front end of the corner. Just poor little mistakes. And I mean, you have to admit the Canadian round last year in Toronto really screwed him out of that championship.
That was weird.
I think he
jacking that up to customs or something.
It was weird. It was definitely controversial for sure. And but he was the points leader going into that point, and that could have thrown off his entire season.
Oh, it ruined him. He went down the drain after that.
He took
the steam out of him.
He was one of few riders to have 2 race wins though on the East Coast last year in a really good East Coast series that featured J. Mart Plessinger as well as Malcolm Stewart, who went on to win it, who we'll be talking about a lot later in the show. But yeah, I think Davalos, if the stars align, I think he can do it. I think on a given night, he probably could have a race win. I'm not going to say he is going to, because I know for sure he's a podium guy, but does he have what it takes to win? He's not been that guy for me that's willing to put it on the line to get a win. He doesn't ride super defensively. He kind of lets riders go around him if they're faster than him. He doesn't play, he kind of lets them go a little bit easily in my opinion, but, the guy is fast enough to win races.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Another rider I'd like to get to are the TLD guys, the Troy Lee Designs riders. Mitchell Oldenburg, I've heard good things about him on the test track. He's riding pretty good. And also Smackle-Raff.
Yeah, Smackle. He's always a contender, that guy. He's and same with Mitch. And they'll have good bikes. Those
they're great bikes.
It's always between those Hondas or those or Mitch's bikes for fastest engine, and the 250s. It's all engine. You got to have that engine.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to have that thing dialed in.
Yeah. So they're gonna be good. They all look those guys all look really good at the straight rhythm there as well. It's they'll be up there.
Yeah, no, I think they will.
It's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be a lot of tight racing. There's gonna be no runaways, I don't think.
No, because you got guys who can win. You got 4 or 5 guys that can win in 7 races this season. But yeah, I really think I don't know if the TLD guys are gonna be in it for the win though. I don't know if those guys can win. But they're unpredictable. I mean, McElrath looked really good in the outdoors until that really nasty wreck he had at, I believe it was Southwick, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah.
And Oldenburg is good as well. I mean, they're good riders. It's just whether they can pull it out for 15 minutes plus a lap, and whether they can get that win. Yeah. I don't know about that. Another rider that's kind of interesting. He's making his return to AMA Supercross after a lengthy spell in Australia. Is Dan Reardon. He's with that Star Racing Yamaha team. They did a nice revamp this year, bringing in a lot of new riders and losing a lot of their good riders, though, which was unfortunate for them. But they brought in a lot of new names, and I think that they should be looking forward with these guys. I think they've got a decent chance. Plessinger, for sure, for the title. I mean, he's up there. He's definitely going to be a top 3 guy. But does Dan Reardon have anything for anybody?
I don't know. He's coming from Australia. The intensity's probably not the same level as it is in back in the States here. These guys they come out of the gates and they go hard for all 15 laps, and I'm not sure if I know up here in Canada they're getting that mindset, but I don't know if they have it in Australia.
Yeah, you kind of wonder about that. I mean, Reardon, when he was in the Supercross before, he was pretty good. I mean, he won a few Supercross titles over in Australia, so he's been riding Supercross. So it's not like this is a huge transition for him. It's not like Dylan Ferrandis, who's riding outdoors in the GPs for the whole time now, just learning how to do Supercross. He knows how to do it. It's just whether he can be fast enough to run with the guys like Dovlos and Forkner and Hill and those type of guys and be able to put a contention for a win. I don't know if he's got it.
All of these guys can put in a fast lap. It's putting in 15 fast laps.
Well, that's exactly it.
Consistent. And that's where Cooper Webb was just heads and shoulders above these guys last year.
Exactly.
Even busted up with that wrist, he was still maybe not the fastest guy, but over 15 laps he was the fastest guy.
Yeah, he had the fitness and everything was going his way.
At the end of in the last 3 laps, man, nobody had bigger lungs than that guy. So that's where he was winning all his races.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then here we go. We're gonna kind of get into the lesser guys, the guys that could surprise everybody. Tyler Bowers is the first one I want to start with because this guy is a race winner. He has won at the 250 level. He did lose his ride with Monster Energy Kawasaki, but he's riding with 5150. The barn. I don't know what that name is, or it's just 5150, isn't it? But he's riding with that Yamaha team. They've got a pretty decent team over there with him and Melross, I believe, and it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, he's as fast as anybody out there too, but it depends on his fitness as well. Like he got laid out with that Epstein-Barr virus, and
yeah,
I'm not sure how that is to get over. If hopefully he's Jeremy Martin had the same thing, and he's obviously over it. So hopefully he's up to speed.
Yeah,
he's a fun guy to watch because he's not scared to.
Oh yeah, he's like he gets the controversy going, and you kind of like that in the sport. It makes it interesting.
You need a guy like that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the Yamaha is gonna be a perfect bike for him. He's a big guy, more power for him. I think that's perfect for him. I think that's a great move to the Yamaha for him. It's just whether the team's got the stuff to to work against Geico and Monster Energy Kawasaki and all those teams. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, it depends what kind of parts they got from Yamaha. If they got the good stuff, they'll be competitive. If not, they don't get those suspension parts that the factory guys are using, then it's going to be a tough sled.
And now I just want to look at the rookies coming into the class. We've got Bradley Taft on the Cycle Trader Yamaha. Big things about him. He was I don't know if he actually won Loretta's or not, but he was really close to winning it if he didn't win it. And he looked really good in those few rounds he did outdoors at the end of the season last year. I think he was top 10 in a few of them, and he could be a contender this year.
Yeah, I'm sure he could be. It's usually with the new guys. It's keeping the emotions in check and staying off the ground. I mean, if they can all ride bikes. I mean, but the new guys, they tend to get a little excited and end up on the tough blocks eating hot dogs at the end of the night. So
yeah, make a few mistakes and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the last rider I want to cover in the 250 class is Tristan Charbonneau. I don't know do you know him? He was riding Geico in the outdoors this year.
Yeah, no, I saw him there.
He started well. He slipped up back, and now all of a sudden he's not racing with Geico anymore. He's actually at Bud Racing Monster Energy Kawasaki, and this guy's a 2-time Loretta winner. I don't know why he's not riding with Geico. I wonder why they let him go.
I don't know. He obviously wasn't putting up the results they were looking for the reason it was.
I mean, I did my research on this, and because I was really curious, because I actually kind of like Charbonneau. And I did my research, and there's nothing. You couldn't find nothing about it. A lot of people were saying that the money was better at Bud Racing Kawasaki. I'm not too sure about that. They said that the results weren't good enough for Geico. But, I mean, they've got guys like Jimmy Dakotas is a guy who's still riding Geico. He's actually in the West Coast as well. And, I mean, I think, they're giving him a lot of time, and they didn't give Charbonneau any time. But another reason why I think he might have left, I've heard that this Bud Racing team, they actually do the EMX 250 class in the GPs in Europe.
Oh,
and so they had a rider, I think his last name was Sinai, and he's an American kid, and I think he actually got a GP ride this year because of being with this Bud Racing Kawasaki team and riding in the EMX class. He finished second overall. It got him a ride in the GP class. So I'm wondering if maybe Charbonneau is kind of worrying about his career a little bit, kind of wants to get more exposure to the GPs and the Supercross series. I think that would make a lot of sense to me.
If he's planning that, he's a smart kid, because I think as the economy starts to slide here, I think it's going to be tougher and tougher for these guys to get rides.
No, for sure, and I think it's a brilliant move. I mean, Sanai, I've never heard of the guy. He went to Europe. He's got a ride in the GPs next year. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Charbonneau, how he does in those situations. If he's going to be able to get a ride there, or how he's going to do in the Supercross. I think he'll do fine. I think he'll make the main events. I don't think he'll be running for podiums or anything, but I think he'll have a solid campaign.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, but now we can move on to the 450, which I've divided it into 4 subcategories, and so we're going to start off with the top dogs. We've got Dungey, Tomac, Roczen. Your thoughts?
Wow, I don't know. As a Dungey fan, I've got to go with Dungey over the whole 17 rounds here.
For sure.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a dogfight, though. I think him and Kenny are going to go at it, and definitely Eli's going to be in there for race wins too. It's going to be super exciting. These guys I think they're all on the same pace. They're all in wicked shape. It's going to be it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it's Dungey and Roczen for the title. I think Tomac is going to be a race winner. I don't know how many times. I could see more than at least twice. I don't know if he's consistent enough to always be in that top 3 or not. Dungey will always be in the top 3, and that's why I think he's got a great shot at this title, because he's always in the top 3. Roczen, we saw in the Monster Energy Cup, he was the fastest guy. Let's be honest. He was the fastest guy.
By far, yeah.
But he made that mistake. Mistake, and it threw it off for him. I mean, that's Dungey.
You're right. That pace, that pace he's on is, it's on the cusp of disaster all the time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And it's going to bite him once in a while.
But that's what I mean, is that Dungey does not do that. He stays in his comfort zone. He does not make mistakes. He's always top 3. One mistake like that from Roczen, the title's gone. The title's gone, and that's what Dungey's going to probably have to rely on this season, and that's why he's a great shout for the championship. Roczen, I think, is head and shoulders. I think he's a bit faster than those guys, but I think that Dungey is going to be consistent throughout the year. Tomac, again, he showed it in the Monster Energy Cup. He showed that he was, when Roczen made that mistake, Tomac was reeling him in. Slowly but surely, he was getting closer and closer, putting the pressure on Roczen, and Roczen made the mistake. Tomac went on to win, and then he ended up winning the whole Monster Energy Cup. And Tomac showed in that final race that he knew how good he had to do to win the Monster Energy Cup. Dungey got back around him, but he didn't do something crazy and throw it away. He was really, and that was Dungey-esque. A guy like that, he didn't panic. He knew he had to at least finish behind Dungey. He saw Dungey ahead of him. He knew that's what he had to do. He did it. And I think that's a big step in the right direction for Tomac, and it just shows his maturity. And I don't know if Roczen has that. I think Roczen might just say, I need the win. I need the win. I need the win. I don't think he's happy with anything other than a win, and that could bite him.
It's hard to say. That might have been a wake-up call for him at that Monster Energy Cup, and now he's going to settle down. I don't know, because if he does settle down, I think these guys could be in trouble. Oh yeah, I think
if he can get consistent finishes, I think they're in a lot of trouble, because he's
in trouble.
Because I could see Roczen winning the first four motos, and I wouldn't even be shocked. But I do see him making a big mistake throughout the season, and that's going to cost him. I really do. So it'll be interesting to see if his maturity level is going to be going up, and he's going to be like, okay, maybe the race win's out of reach, and I'll just settle for a third or a second. He's not going to push it to beyond the limits where he's going to make a huge mistake and throw it away.
Yeah, if he does that, I think it could go either way.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the move to Honda, I think it's a great move for him, personally.
I think I'm sure it's a good financial move. I'm sure they're paying him a ton of
money.
Oh
yeah, but I don't even think just financially. I think, he had that Suzuki dialed in, but he's with a team that didn't even, just a month ago, didn't even know that they were going to be racing. So now he's
RCH was on the cusp of folding up there.
Yeah, exactly. So, now he's got a team behind him that he doesn't have to worry about the team. He's got a great team. I think the the HRC team is really good. I think that they've got a lot of potential going forward. They got Cole Seeley and Ken Roczen riding for them. It's going to be a good year for Honda, I think. I think both of those guys could probably race wins, and Roczen should definitely be in it for the championship.
Yeah, for sure. And Seeley's a podium contender every day of the week too. So Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting.
But I mean, Tomac also though can come out of nowhere and shock everyone. I mean,
And he will. I guarantee he's got race wins in him.
I mean, he showed it in the Monster Energy Cup that he was fast enough to run with those guys.
Yeah. If he's feeling it, he can run with those guys for sure. Again, he's got a little bit of the consistency issue thing of hitting the ground at the worst time, but
and his starts as well.
His starts aren't.
I mean, Roxon.
So Kenny's got the same problem. He can start in the mid pack all the time too.
Yeah, but I did watch an interview though with Eli Tomac, and he said that he knew that was his problem though. And I mean, the first step to getting better is to know what your problems are. So I think they've been working hard on those starts because he knows that because he was looking. Dungey's I think Dungey's average start is second. I think it's around second place, which is ridiculous. And Roxon, I think it was either around third, fourth, or fifth. So I mean, those guys are starting up front. Roxon, and I think Tomac's average was about 7th or 8th. So I mean, he knows that he has to be better at that because by the time he gets up front, those guys are gone. So I mean, he knew the problem. Now, did he fix it? I guess we'll see on Saturday.
We'll see on Saturday because they've all been working on it. So
that's exactly it.
If they've all improved, in concession with each other, and they'll all be in the same spot anyway. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Tomac's got that bike working the way he wants it to be.
He's had a lot more time to figure it out this time. He's not coming off of a double shoulder injury like he had last time.
I was just going to mention that he's he says that he's feeling fully healed up from that. He said he wasn't feeling fully good last year from that injury. So now he's not feeling that injury. He's fresh. He's had the whole off season to work and get that bike feeling the way he wants it. So he should be a contender this season. If he's not, it'll be a really big disappointment for everyone, especially him.
Those 2 big GP wins he had too. So he's got some momentum there too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I want to move on to the next segment here. We got outside looking in, or actually no, sorry, we got the contenders. So this one's featuring Webb, Anderson, Moose, Seeley, and Reed. I had to add Reed in there because I still think he's got it.
Oh, Reed's totally got it. Yeah, he's. I don't know if he's got race wins, but he's definitely got podiums left.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I kind of took the guys that I feel, can make the podium. I put them in the contenders list. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of good riders on this list these guys could win the championship. I mean, I know they're not, and they got zero pressure to do so. So I mean, this could be a good moment for some of these guys to step up, especially the likes of Anderson, Muscan for sure. He's the same age as Ryan Dungey, believe it or not. He's got to start. If he wants a 450 Supercross title, he needs to go now.
Yeah, and he's got you've seen him head to head with Dungey at the straight rhythm, and I mean that guy's got ridiculous skill on a bike. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. It's just whether he can do it for 20 minutes plus a lap.
Whether he can keep it up and have the head game to do it. Now, again, it's more of a head game with that guy.
I mean, he's done his rookie season. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. He had some great moments. He should have had that win where James Stewart cut him off and he made that huge mistake and almost got landed on by Dungey. Thankfully, he didn't get landed on, but he did not win that race, and it was a huge blow for him. You could see how disappointed he was after the race. So you know that he's got the speed to be a race winner. I mean, he looked great in preseason. No one can deny that. He was head and shoulders above everybody he raced in preseason. Straight rhythm, it shows how good he is in rhythm sections and stuff. So he's got the rhythm section speed. I mean, it's hard to make a lot of judgment on that because, I mean, let's just say Josh Hansen finished third ahead of Trey Kennard. It's hard to make a lot of judges of, because I mean, Trey Kennard will probably blow him away on a track any day of the week in 20 minutes.
Yeah, so putting corners in there, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of can't make a lot of judgment about that because but he shows that he's got the bike skill. I mean, he's done it. Preseason was fantastic, so he's coming in with more confidence than anyone at this given moment. I mean, he could come out surprise everybody on A1 and maybe get a surprise win.
I think he may exactly do that. I don't know about A1, but I think give him a little bit of momentum, and that kid could get up there. Yeah.
The other 2 more riders I want to look at here is Anderson and Seeley. I mean, the huge rivalry between those two. Do you feel like it's going to continue this year? Do you think there's going to be some more, some pretty dirty takeouts again?
Oh God, I hope it's
the other way around.
On Anderson though.
Yeah, I know for sure.
I mean, if anybody deserves to get put down on the ground by Cole Seeley, it's the Yates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How many races has he stolen from him now with those last minute hits?
Literally, he's got
to be 4 in the entire championship that one year.
He stole an entire championship away from him in the 250s doing that. So I mean,
I guess you can't say he stole it. I mean, it was
no, he earned it.
crazy,
He earned it. He made it happen. But I mean, he did it in a pretty chippy way. But I mean, a lot of people. Some of it's good racing. Some of it's good racing, but some of it goes over the line.
Great racing, but I mean, it's got to be a.
There's a line. There's a really.
Sees that guy, he must be like, oh God, again.
It's almost like a bullying situation. It just keeps happening over and over again. He's got to stick up for himself at some point and punt Anderson into the ground because it's gonna get out of hand really soon.
Well, he's given him a couple of good hits.
Oh yeah, but not enough.
On the wrong end of it, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And Anderson doesn't just do it to Seeley either. I mean, we saw that really. I think it was on Justin Brayton where he rode him on the inside up the face of that triple and just took out Brayton. It was pretty gross move. It wasn't on. I mean, he did make the move stick, but it was pretty gross.
Yeah, every commentator's been talking about that guy.
Oh yeah, it's so controversial.
And everybody's all over the place with it. You know, some guys are saying it's just racing. Some guys are saying it's super sketchy and chippy and
no, for sure. There's a lot of different.
I don't know. I think he's not making friends out there, which a lot of guys say is not going to help him because.
Oh no, for sure.
People aren't going to get out of his way. I can tell you that much.
No, for sure, because people are going to invite the contact and then go right back at him. I mean, that's what.
That's right.
When it gets to that point, to a certain point, you know, people are just going to stop, and then it's going to get out of hand for him. And I think that's what's going to really hurt him in the title chase this year.
It's going to be hard for him to come through the pack. That's for sure.
Because people will do everything that they can to keep him behind them.
You bet they will.
And it won't. Yeah. So I mean, that's going to be tough for them. I mean, Seeley though, Seeley's a great guy, a really nice guy. Just raced in Japan a little bit recently, and did really well over there. But I think Seeley's got a few wins. I mean, not a few wins, but I think he could get a win on a good night for him.
It's crazy that we're talking about all these guys
that could win. Yeah.
Year. I mean, they all could.
Yeah, and I mean, but again, Seeley's
just. Blake Baggett. I'm hearing Blake Baggett's flying on.
I have heard about that too. I have heard about Baggett doing really well as well. But I mean, everybody's saying that their rider's flying though, and so I mean. It's hard to judge. Again, we have to wait till Saturday. I mean, it's hard to judge anybody until we see them against each other because everybody's saying that their rider's flying. I mean, you can say it about anyone. But, I mean, it's just whether they can do it in a race scenario, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, Cooper, I'm sure is probably faster than Reed, but, in Australia there, I mean, he wasn't. When in a race situation, he didn't get the start. He didn't look quite comfortable coming through the pack like he usually does. And
yeah, but we have to remember though that Australia does have a really tight track. The tracks are tough to pass on as is.
It's different. Yeah. And I mean, they're all riding the same tracks.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I think that Webb probably is slightly faster than Reed going into the season. It depends on how Webb's starts are. We know that he can't start. Has he fixed that? We don't know. We'll see, I guess. I mean, Chad Reed looks.
Has Chad fixed it? He's.
I think Chad. I think Chad has gotten better. From what I saw at Monster Energy Cup, I think he got 2 hole shots. I mean, he crashed with one of them, but I think he got 2 of the hole shots there.
Well, he was right up there.
Or he was in the top 5. He was in the. And I mean, you can't. It's hard again to judge because we didn't have a full pack of riders, but we had a good field in the Monster Energy Cup. There was a pretty good field. And so, I mean, and then in the Oz Open as well, I mean, Chad was showing that he was willing to do anything to get out front right away when he punted Brayton off the track. And a lot of people talked about that being pretty gross. And I agree. It looked a little bit controversial. It looked like he kind of went straight into him, but he got out front. I mean, he was committed. He did it, and he got out front, and he went on to win that race in front of his home fans. And you could see how much it meant to him to win again. And for me, if he shows that passion and that commitment, we could see Chad Reed on the top of the box this year.
I think we could. I agree.
It'll be really interesting. All right, so I guess we should move on to our next segment. All right, I just want to ask you one question, though. Could any of those, if you were to pick one of those 5 to win the championship, who is it?
The looking out, looking in guys?
No, the contenders. You got Webb, Anderson, Moose, Seeley, and Reed.
I wouldn't pick any of them to win the championship.
But if you had to, if you feel like one guy is going to come out of nowhere, be amazing this season, get consistent results, who would it be?
I'd probably have to go with Marvin.
Really, I'd go Cooper Webb. I think Cooper Webb. I think everybody is just they're kind of looking past Webb. They don't think that. I mean, if you look back, Supercross rookies in the 450 class actually have a really good win record. I mean, it's not great in the last few seasons, but I mean, these guys have a decent win record over the years. So I mean, I think
it does happen, but it's I don't know.
I mean, Justin Barcia was great in his rookie season. He was not really good after that. But I think Webb, I don't think Webb will be guns blazing right away. I think he is the guy who could win a championship. Have out of those 5, I think that he's the one who's going to be the fastest. Whether he's going to get the starts or not, it's going to be a new thing. But I think he's probably the most likely, in my opinion, to win a race. Maybe championship, probably not. But I think he's got it. I think he's got the speed to win. It's just whether he's got the starts in him is my only question. Because you can't start back in the pack when you got guys like Dungey and Roxon starting in the top 3. You can't. But yeah, we should move on to the outside looking in. So these are the riders such as Brayton, Pike, Barcia, Bogle, Tickle, Millsaps, Baggett, Grant, Alessi, Kennard, and Porcel.
Well, I guess we can write off Barcia right off the bat.
Yeah, Barcia bamming himself into the dirt, broken wrist or hurt wrist or something, and that gives good old Jake.
Broken bone in his wrist, yeah.
Good job, Jake Weimer. No one thought Jake Weimer would be lining up for A1, and all of a sudden we see the number 12 on the starting gate.
Yeah, I guess he's still been training with RCH, and they gave him a bike, and he's been staying in shape and training. So,
and I'm not surprised about that because he's riding with RCH. It's a Suzuki bike. Not much change going from RCH to JGR. I think it's going to be a good move for him. He's going to have to perform though. This is a big chance for him to show that he still has the speed to get a top 10 here and there. I mean, he did finish 10th in points last year in the Supercross standings, so he knows that he can do it. It's just whether can he show that he's worth picking up next season for a ride.
I think he's got the motivation, that's for sure, because I think this is make or break it for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's got to. It's now or never. I think if he gets a bunch of DNFs this year and does really poorly for JGR now, he's got this chance for at least 4 rounds. I heard you said 4 rounds until Barcia comes back?
At least 4, yeah. Yeah,
so he's got at least 4 rounds. He's got to make the most of it because we all expected it would be Wilson or Malcolm getting the first fill-in ride, but Weimer somehow jumps above both of them, gets the fill-in ride with JGR, a good bike. I think, they're pretty much, I don't know if they're quite the Suzuki team. I mean, you got the RCH guys, but I mean, they're a big team, and they're expecting good results from the riders, and now they lost their main guy. They're going to be expecting good results from Jake Weimer.
Yeah. He's going to have a little bit of pressure on his shoulders for sure.
Moving on to the other Suzuki guys, we got Pike, and Bogle and Tickle. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Pike, Bogle, and Tickle. I think if I had to put money on any of them, I'd probably be Bogle.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm actually saying Tickle. I'm saying Tickle, but Pike could come out of nowhere. Pike's got the motivation. I think he's coming in healthy. He needs to. He really needs to. He needs to step up. He was really lucky to keep the ride with JGR.
He was I don't know. I see him sort of been hitting the wall here lately.
Yeah, you kind of think that but it's gonna be weird because for guys like him, they're gonna feel like they're coming into the season and they can be faster. But what if they're not? What if they hit that wall?
What I'm not seeing that with him. He seems to have hit the wall as far as speed goes.
So we'll see how he does. He's back on Suzuki, a bike that he was really good on. That's what got him noticed was that Suzuki. So we'll see how he does on that.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
He could come out into this season. He could be good. We don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's podium good, but he could be good. Bogle for me, I think if he's on it, he's gonna be good. I think he could be almost top 5. I think he could be almost top 5.
Be good. He's a good starter.
He does have those starts down.
He might be a fitness issue with him. I don't think he's on the same level as Roxon or Dungey as far as fitness goes.
And that's kind of what my thing with him has been is his work ethic is on par with the guys that the contender guys. Is his work ethic there?
I don't know if it's work ethic or just opportunity. I mean, you got to think that Roxon and Dungey, they can afford the best trainer talent out there. can the rest of these guys do that? I don't think so. I mean,
No, and
there's
for sure a lot of them took
there's a lot of science going into the training nowadays, and if you can't afford to pay for that, it's going to put you on your heels a little bit.
No, and I think all those guys. I mean, like you got Bogle and they took a big pay cut between this time last year they were making a lot more money. So especially the RCH guys because their team was barely going to be in business. So I mean I'm sure those guys aren't making as much as they'd like to be.
Oh, they aren't. The sponsorships dwindled a lot this year for all those teams, so they're going to be having to do more with less, and and that's going to come down to the quality of the trainers they can get these guys.
No, for sure. And my pick was Brock Tickle, and I believe that Brock Tickle's got it. I think he's got what it takes. He showed it in the outdoors. He got a few podiums actually in the AMA series outdoors, and I think that he's got a bit of confidence. I think if he didn't get hurt, I think he would have been good. But I think if he can keep it on two wheels, I think he'll be fine. It's just whether he can keep it on two wheels or not, and just keep being consistent week in, week out. I think he can be a top 10 guy every week, and maybe even push him for top 5. So I think he's got it. I think he's gonna be good.
I think any of those guys are top 5 if they have the right night for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the Millsaps Baggett situation. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're both going to do well. I think like I say, hear nothing but good things on Baggett. He could be a sleeper of the season. This guy. Yeah,
but we got to remember that I've never seen Baggett do well in Supercross. Really, I've never seen him be that guy in Supercross. So it'll be interesting.
He's kind of known for an outdoor guy.
Outdoors. Every day of the week, I'd be putting him in the contenders. I'd be putting him in the contenders if it was outdoors. But this is Supercross. I don't know if he's as good as Supercross is what people are talking him up to be right now. They're saying that he's flying. And I don't doubt that. I bet he's going really fast. But is he going fast enough to be on the podium and in the top 5? I don't know.
I don't know. I'd like to think so. I think he's a good kid and works hard. Davey too. I think Davey is a good Supercross rider. So.
Millsaps could come out at he could win for all we know. I mean, the guy is so.
Come out and win a race.
He's unpredictable, yeah. Millsaps.
He is, and again, that's comes down to training.
And it was only a few years ago that he won A1 on that Suzuki. It was only a few years ago. So I mean, if he's still feeling good, he's coming off of a Canadian championship up in the Great White North. I mean, I think he's going to be feeling pretty good. I think he's going to be coming in with some confidence, and I feel like I don't know if I highly doubt he'll win. I wouldn't put my money on it, but I think that he could be a guy who's pushing for top 5s this year.
Yep.
If he stays healthy, because he's the guy who's been hurt a lot. People don't really realize that, but he's been really hurt a lot. So if he can stay healthy and feel good, and if his body feels good, I think he could go and maybe be a top 5 guy.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the 20 minutes plus 1 format now,
that could hurt him though. That could hurt him. I've never
for
Baggett.
A lot of guys.
For Baggett though, it's a positive. That 20 plus 1, because that's going to add more time for him. He's in such great shape. He shows it in the outdoors. Yeah. It could really help Baggett. And I mean, maybe that's why they think he's flying, because he can do those 20 plus 1 laps all at the same pace the whole time and feel good about it. Another rider we should move on to is Trey Kennard, another guy who's pretty unpredictable in these last few seasons.
Yep, don't know what to say about him. A new bike, coming off a Honda forever, could be a pretty big change for him.
I think it's going to be a good change.
Yeah, I don't think he did any preseason stuff. I didn't really see him other than the straight rhythm. He did that. Looked okay, but.
I mean, I still think he's getting used to the bike. I don't put any of that on him. I think he's trying to get used to the bike. And for me, and from what I was thinking last night, I was just thinking about this actually about Trey Kennard, because I feel like he kind of let that one go on purpose because he did not want to get hurt. This is his chance to show what he can do on a big factory team again. He's had a rough few years, last few seasons where he got hurt quite a bit. He cannot afford to get hurt this season, and I think that's a big reason why he held back at the straight rhythm.
Could be right. Yeah, I don't know. These guys are all racers; they want to win. So I'm not.
And I get that, but I don't know. I think maybe in the back of his mind he's thinking, "Wow, this is kind of one of my last shots to be on one of the big teams." So I think for him, I mean he could get a ride easily. I think I really didn't see him going without a ride this year. But with a big team like Red Bull KTM, this is a big chance for him. So I don't know if maybe he held back. I mean, I could see it.
hard to say. But just you can just watch the, you're watching Marvin. The way that guy attacks that track, you could tell he's at a level that a lot of these guys weren't anywhere close.
No, for sure.
Even if Trey wasn't.
No, he wasn't going to win.
The style and the I don't know.
Muscan was brilliant on the night.
He was.
I couldn't.
And he is. I mean, this guy is just a matter of time, I think.
I think Trey did about what you'd expect him to do in straight rhythm. I mean, he's a great technical rider, so you would have maybe expected a little bit more from him. Maybe to beat Hansen. But I mean, Hansen is technically brilliant. This is that event is built for him.
No joke. That guy he's a fast dude. I don't think he's.
I'm pretty sure he's lining up A1 with in the 250 class. Josh Hansen. So, I mean, so it'll be interesting to see for sure. What about the likes of Brayton? And Brayton and Alessi, Moto Concepts guys, do you feel like those guys are going to have anything for the top 5 this year, or?
Alessi's going to be Alessi. He's going to start in the top 5, if not whole shot, and fade back to about 8th or 9th, like usual.
Yeah, you don't think Alessi's got it this year, hey?
I don't think he's.
I'd love to see Alessi do well. I would
too, but
I think Monster Energy Cup, he surprised me heavily in the Monster Energy Cup. I thought he was actually pretty good in the Monster Energy Cup. I'm not going to say that that's really, something to base our predictions off of, but I would like to see him build from that because I think he ended up around in the top 5. So I think, I think,
good, but...
and I mean, I think, in a stacked field like that, I mean, to get, to be that guy is pretty good. So I think if he can build from that and work on getting his speed a little bit faster, keep those starts the way they are, because he is the best starter, I think, in Supercross. I think if he can build on that speed, we could see a guy that could be pushing for top 5s. I mean, any of these guys here, they're great riders. It's hard to.
No, I don't see him top 5. I see.
No,
him.
No. I think it's definitely a long shot. Let's be honest. I mean, he probably won't. I wouldn't put my money on it, but he could come out of nowhere. We don't know.
Not with the rest of these.
But Justin Brayton though. This is a guy who definitely could be top 5.
Top 5. Yeah.
He's a fantastic Supercross rider. He's coming off an Australian championship. This is a guy who people should be looking out for. He's on the new 2017 Honda. He's been riding at the Honda factory track with Seeley. He's been getting pointers from those guys. So I mean, his preseason has been really strong. And yeah, I mean, he looked good. And I think was it Geneva? The Geneva Supercross, he went to that as well, didn't he? And in Switzerland there.
He's had a very he did. He's had a very busy preseason for sure.
And so maybe
he's coming in shape. He's got that bike, dialed in, race conditions. I think he's going to do well.
All right, I guess 2 more kind of riders that have over the years have been kind of disappointed. We've got Grant and Porcel. I mean, Grant, he came back last year at Daytona, showed that he's got speed, and now he's ended up with a Monster Energy Kawasaki ride on the factory team. It's pretty amazing how that occurred. But does Grant have a top 5 in him this year?
Yep. I think he does too.
I think he does.
He's been suffering from wrecked ankles.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Crashed, so he's got them both fixed, and he's had time to get himself in shape. So yeah, I think Grant does good.
And he is one of those guys also who is technically brilliant.
Top 5. Yeah, he's a fast guy.
And it's just whether he's got the fitness up, and I mean, he's got this ankle thing sorted out. So I mean, I think it's gonna be good.
He's got a good shot at it this year. At least he's not coming in, with any kind of a hiccup like that. He's coming in
fresh,
and with no injuries. So he's at least had his a decent training regimen coming in.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and Porcel, this is the final rider. Again, probably the most technically brilliant rider, the fastest guy for 1 lap. But can he put 20 minutes plus a lap in? Can he do it?
I don't know.
I can't see it. He's never.
See it. No.
He seems like that guy who's going to hold back and sit in his comfort zone, because we saw it in the outdoors. He went out of his comfort zone one time and he absolutely wrecked himself. And he actually really hurt his back in that crash. And so whether he's back fully from that, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit skittish about getting hurt.
Yeah, so I mean,
riding at that level.
There's so much. There's so
and
many
we've seen
talking
that
ones.
A lot of times, we've seen that with a lot of riders. They come back from a big injury like that, and they're just not on the same pace because they're, and rightly so, they're a little spooked out of
Yeah, you can even argue. You can even argue for Chad about that Millville crash. Oh my God, we got fun. I mean, how he walked away from that, I'll never know. But I mean, that's one of those crashes, especially when you have a family and stuff like that, where you're thinking in the back of your head, wow, what if I got really hurt there? So I mean, maybe you got this, and I mean, Reed since then, in my opinion, has not been as fast as we know he can be. So you wonder
not
maybe
consistently. He showed
he showed glimpses. He showed glimpses for sure.
Here and there, but he hasn't quite been that pace.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, I guess we'll move on to the final segment of the episode, our first episode, the preview show for 2017. The top 10, our top 10 for the 250s. Do you want me to start, or do you want to start?
Yeah, you go ahead. You know those 250s better than I do.
Okay, I'm going to start from the top and work my way down because I don't want to try and organize it in my head here. So we're going to go to win it. I can't see. I really think that J-Mart is going to win it this year. That Geico Honda. He said he really likes the bike. It's a bit lighter for him. I think he's got a great shot at it. He's got speed. I mean, they moved him to the West because he's going so fast. So I think that he's got a great shot at it. I think he should be the guy winning it. Second place, Austin Faulkner. I mean, the guy is fantastic. He's young. He's definitely going to be a champion in the future. I can't see him not being a champion in the future. The guy's just so good, so consistent, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I think he's going to be really solid. Plessinger is going to be third in my opinion. I can't see him winning the title. I don't think he can knife through the pack well enough to be a title guy. But I think he can be in the race. He's going to win a few races, maybe even a few. But I think it'll be questionable for me whether he wins the championship or not because I just can't see him knifing through the pack. J-Mart can do it. Faulkner, I feel, will be able to. So that'll be interesting to see, though, how that plays out. Martin Davlos fourth. The Vat Train, I think maybe he can pick up a race win, but I think he'll just be solid, top 5 guy all year long. He'll end up fourth in the points, in my opinion. Justin Hill fifth. Nicoletti sixth. I'm going to go with Bowers 7th. I'm going to go McElrath 8th. Oldenburg 9th. And then I'm going to go... Did I already see Bowers? Yeah, I saw Bowers already, didn't I? I'm going to go Dan Reardon 10th. I think Reardon's going to just sneak in the top 10th. Bradley Taft is going to be kind of my sleeper. I mean, he could come out of nowhere and do really well. There's just so many good riders. I mean, Kyle Chisholm is actually in the class this year. I don't know how he's going to do. I can't see him going for top 5s, but... Yeah, so I mean, I think that's my top 10. I feel pretty good about that. Maybe the TLD guys will feel a little bit hard done by. I think they could be a little bit higher. Jimmy Dakotas as well. I think I left him off my top 10 list there. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. That sounds like a pretty solid top 10 pick for sure.
Yeah, do you wanna share yours?
No, I pretty much go with that. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's solid. I think there's a few guys that could really surprise, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. And what about for the 450s? Do you want to take a run at that, or you want me to start?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Roxon to win it.
You think Roxon's gonna take the title?
I think he's. I thought we were just picking for Anaheim 1 here.
Oh, sorry. I was doing the championship.
Okay.
I was doing the championship. Sorry.
I'm going race at a time here, Drew.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, okay.
I gotta see what's going on a little more before.
Okay, you do A1. I'll do championship then. I'll make mine for the championship.
Okay, I'm going Roxon to win it on A1. After battle with Dungey, Eli's gonna be right there. I think Muskin will be 4th, and I think he's going to be battling with Webb and Anderson for that, and those guys are going to go, I think they're going to sort themselves out in 5th and 6th in there. I think Reed, Baggett, and Seeley are going at it for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah.
And finishing anywhere in there, and I'm putting... let's see. I'm going to probably put Millsaps in the top to finish up the top 10 there.
Yeah, there's just so many good riders. It's gonna
There
be
is so many good riders.
I got my top 10 list for the 450 championship. Again, very controversial. I don't know how people are going to react to this or not. But here we go. Starting in 10th place, I've got Blake Baggett. I think that the guy is going to show speed, but I don't know if he's going to be consistent enough to be higher than that. And I think he might have missed a few races with injury. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. My next guy is Justin Brayton. 9th place. I know it's a little bit low for him, but just with the talent ahead of him, it's just there's just too many good riders to put him higher than that. Again, a guy.
Championship, yeah.
I think he's a guy.
Finishes in that overall, but
yeah, he's a guy who can be taught. He can almost be on the podium some nights, depending on how the races go. But I think that he could also be a guy who finishes outside the top 10 some nights if he goes down or just has a bad night in general. I think he could be a guy who finishes outside top 10. I think 9th is kind of fair for him. In 8th, very controversially, I have Cole Seeley in 8th. I mean, Cole Seeley, he's a consistent guy. I think he'll be up there every week, but there's just so many good riders. Again, it's just so tough. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one. I think a lot of people would put him higher. 7th, I got Chad Reed. Again, another guy who maybe should be behind Seeley. I think those two I had a lot of, but I really like Chad Reed. Chad's my favorite guy. I'm always going for him. Kind of had to go with a little bit of bias there. Put Chad 7th. Again, a guy who can, on a good night, can win. Definitely be podium on a good night, for sure. Anderson 6th. I think Anderson will be a guy who, he was one of a few guys who won last year. I mean, he knows that he can win main events. But, again, consistency, and like you said, I think all the guys out there he's gonna have a target on his back. Everybody wants to hit him. No one really likes him. And I think that's gonna really hurt him in the title championship race, because he's gonna have bad nights where people take him out, or he just can't get by guys because guys are trying way harder against him. And it's gonna take a lot of energy out of him, and I know he isn't the greatest with his starts either, so it could be a long season for him, and it could be a really disappointing one as well. In 5th place, I got Marvin Musquin. I think a guy who is gonna be up there for wins. I think he could get a win. I don't know if he will. I mean, he had the rookie season. He got his rookie season in the 450s out of the way. Now it's just to focus on getting good results. And I think for him now, he's got, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say he's got pressure, because I feel like his spot at Red Bull KTM is pretty solid. So I think that he'll be good, and I think he'll be top 5. I think he'll get quite a few podiums, maybe a few wins here and there. We don't know, but I think 5th is really fair for him. In 4th place, I got Cooper Webb, and no one I think I've really talked to would put him that high. I just think that the guy's gonna be fast. I really do. I think he's gonna have such a great year. I mean, if he doesn't get hurt and can keep the bike off the ground here and there, I mean, he's a pretty mature person. He doesn't make a ton of really bad mistakes. I mean, last year I think
he's pretty solid. He has a good head on his.
He's a solid rider. He does have a bit of a temper, though. We did see it in that qualifying session where he gave Aldrich the finger there. We know he's got a bit of a temper. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see whether he can be a little bit more mature than that and not freak out at guys and get panicky, because does that. That's where the mistakes are going to come and the crashes, and then the bad results are going to follow that. So, but I really think that he's got the speed to win. I really expect him to win one, maybe even more than that motos this year. Because I think he's got the speed. In 3rd place, I got Eli Tomac, number 3 in the 3rd place. I think that, again, Tomac's going to have the speed to win. He's going to win a few races here and there. But I don't know if he's got the consistent starts and the consistency to fight for the title against Roczen and Dungey. I picked Dungey to win. I think Dungey's. Okay. I think Dungey, again, like I think I said it a bit earlier. Roczen's the guy who's going to have the most moto wins this year. I think he's going to be the fastest guy, week in, week out. I think he'll be really fast, but he's going to have a few moments of lapse of concentration where he's going to make a mistake, go down, and it's going to end up being a 6th place for him on the night. And Dungey will win that race. And then for Dungey, that's just exactly what Dungey needs. He's so good at that where, he's consistently top 3. He'll gain those points. Sure, he doesn't need to win week in, week out, but he's smart about what he does, and he's going to get points, and I think he's going to be the champion again.
Yep. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I think you're absolutely right. I think Roczen's going to be the faster guy, but I think Dungey's consistency will win the day.
All right. So I want to do one more thing. I want to talk about some guys who are without a ride before we end the show here. Dean Wilson, riding with Yamaha, I think he'll be riding outdoors with the factory Yamaha, because Reed's got a Supercross only. How does Wilson do you think? Do you think Wilson's a guy who could surprise everyone with this Yamaha?
It depends what kind of support he's getting. Again, if he's getting the right parts, yeah, he's fast, and there's no question about it. And he's coming in injury free this year too. So
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He has got to stay healthy.
So I think his bike's going to be a little bit lacking. I don't know what kind of parts he's getting. I think that's what kind of carries the day with him. If he's getting the right parts, he'll be right up there too.
Yeah, and you kind of get a feeling that Yamaha made this happen because of the lack of riders that they have. They've only got Reed and Webb, really, I think, in the top 20 main guys.
Yeah,
so,
and if something happens to either one of them or any of the Yamaha,
yeah, get them training on a Yamaha. Because
he'll be the first filling guy for sure.
Oh, for sure. I think it was a good move by Yamaha. I know, both of us are not a huge Wilson fan, but I think he'll have a decent season. What about Mookie? Do you think he's going to get a ride? I mean, it sounds like what he's going to do is I think he got a deal with Suzuki. He won't be at A1, I've heard, because
I heard he couldn't get it together.
Yeah, it wasn't quite done in time. So he will be at A2 or at second round, I believe. What is the second round going to be? Is it San Diego?
Usually, yes. So
it's something like that, somewhere in California, the second round.
Yeah.
But he should be there. I've heard that he's going to be racing round 2. On a Suzuki, so Suzuki's backing him for the, I think it's like a few rounds, but I could see him easily getting a fill-in ride really fast. Same with Wilson. Wait, who do you think gets a fill-in ride first, Wilson or Malcolm?
Well, from what I understand, I think it depends on which
manufacturer.
The rider packs it in first. I mean,
because it was surprising that Weimer got a ride over those two, because I would have put Wilson and Malcolm ahead of Weimer, but Weimer was training on that Suzuki. So
that's right. So that's how it's going to go. I mean, the first Yamaha guy to
Sorry for the technical difficulty there, but yeah, we're back on here, and I guess we were just pretty much finishing up anyway. There wasn't a whole lot more to talk about.
No, I think we beat it up pretty
good. The main thing the final thing to end this thing off, James Stewart, does he race? Yes or no?
Nah, I don't think so.
You think he's done? Do you think he's done for good, or do you just think he's just done for a little bit here?
I hate to see him done for good, but I don't think he's back here for Supercross.
I can't believe him and Mookie didn't create a Stewart team. I still don't get that. I was so hyped about it because it was like, both Stewarts don't have a ride. They got to have a Stewart team, but they don't. And another thing I want to talk about Malcolm is are you surprised he didn't get the ride with Geico? Like Geico did it for Bogle, where they gave him a 450 ride for the first season to get him.
I don't know. I think
it's money. It's got to be money.
It's money. I think it's
Malcolm wanted more than they were going to give, and
Bogle just took what they were offering, and he's in.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's in Bogle's, and it helped Bogle. I mean, you got a ride with RCH this year, so it'll be interesting to see. But I mean, this is going to be such a good season, so much anticipation. Again, I mean, we say this every single year, but the field is as deep as it's ever been. I mean, there's about 8 guys who can win a race this year, so or even more than that. So I mean, it's going to be a deep field this year. #deep, and it'll be interesting to see how this season goes.
Yep, it's gonna be good. Looking forward to it.
Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this preview show of the Monster Energy Supercross 2017 season. If you guys did enjoy, remember to like and subscribe and click on the bell button, because the bell button will give you news and updates of when we upload. And subscribe for news of the latest updates on what's going on across the motocross world. We will be covering the MXGPs as well when they start up in February. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, guys, take care.